Hello guys, welcome back to PowerShell Titans. Today let's see about how to create a rich HTML document or any report for us so that we can present our, let's say, outputs or whatever the result we are getting in a silver platter so that it will be appealing more. And here we are going to cover how we are going to uh, gonna convert some data, any kind of data, to HTML, and then what all the ways we can customize so that we can make it more appealing so that it will be easy to readable. So that's what we are going to cover, and let's start with a few basic things. So let's save this as HTML session. Okay, first thing is why we use HTML, and why what is the reason why we should use HTML to present our reports, or what is the whole point the complete internet is working on HTML? Because the one main thing, because it's the readability is very good, means it's very appealing, easy to read, and good, all those things. So that is one of the main reason why we are still in HTML, even though we have a lot of backend code. Okay, it can be Python or Django, or a website can be running in anything. It can be a Python, or it can be a PHP, or it can be a WordPress, or anything. But whatever we see at this, let's say this is a backend, okay, and this is the backend, and whatever we see in the front end, right? So whatever we see in the front end, right, that will be using HTML. So what is HTML? Let's first see what is HTML. HTML is a hyper text markup language. We know, I mean, you don't have to remember that just to know what is HTML. Okay, so this is how anything, even though the backend will be anything, but the front end will be HTML. There is something also, something called style sheet, okay, which is also called CSS. Okay, so I'll type CSS, and you could see what is CSS. It is cascading style sheet. So I'll just put it in this simple way. Okay, you can consider this HTML, right? It can be anything. It can be a button. It can be a, let's open a website. Let's say, let's open any website, Microsoft.com. Okay, now we see this, and then if we, what I'm doing is I'm pressing Control Shift I. Now you could see the backend information, and I'm gonna just make it detach. I'm just gonna show what is at the backend. Okay, so let's just say, okay, here. Okay, we have HTML. Okay, here you could see in the backend, right? It's something starts with the HTML and then it ends with HTML. So this is the HTML document that, I mean, that is what we are talking about here. So what is this HTML will be having? It can be having a lot of content type. It can be having, let's say in this example, what we are seeing here is, let me, let us, you see here an icon, and then menu, and then text, support, Xbox, all those things are menu, and this is an image. All these things are components, right? Everything is a component. If I highlight it, you could see what is the component name, okay, and let's say what is the color, and what is the font, and what is the padding. All those things we are seeing, right? So that is what we are going to focus on today. And again, if you do not know or you haven't worked on any web development or not sure about how to do HTML, don't worry about it. I'm going to make it very simple using some tools. Okay, as of now, try to understand only the concept. So we open Microsoft website, and then we go to press Control Shift I, or just go to 1 second, more tools, and this is the one, developer tools, and this is where we are. And we can choose any one of the HTML. I just choose this HTML, and then I'm opening this and showing this HTML. So other than this, do we have anything else on this? Let me see. And I'm checking something called CSS. Okay, and I'm going to check, is there any CSS here? Okay, so CSS is as this is the one, right? So first of all, HTML, it can be button, it can be text, it can be menu, or anything, all these building blocks, right? Basic web building blocks. Okay, these are all HTML. And what are all the things to make this text, let's say to make the text bold and underline, all these things are style, right? We are, let's say if you open a word, open a blank document, and then I'm going to type let's say test HTML. Okay, and here I'm going to choose this. And what all the things we can do here, let's say we can choose what is the font. We can make it as a different font, and then we can also change whether it's a lowercase or capitalize each word. All those things we can do. Let's And what else we can do? We can make it bold, and we can unbold it, and then make it italic, and then underline. All these things are style. So we have some kind of basic component that will be built by HTML, and then whatever the style we are saying, right, that can be done using CSS. Okay, CSS is again cascading style sheet. Just remember this word, styling is what this will do. So these are all just two files. How we have, like PS1 is PowerShell scripts, right? Similarly, HTML can be .htm or .html, and CSS will be a style sheet will be .css. So this is what the HTML files, and this is what the style sheet files. Now that is the extension. So similarly, whatever we are doing, right, all these styles will be done through this file. All those information, let's say we are making it bold, or whatever the font and whatever the color we are changing, whatever the background color, everything, right? All the style will be in this .css file. And we can all the components, let's say this text, we are typing test HTML, that's a building block, right? That is the basic thing. On that top we are doing all these styles, right? That is the CSS. So again, this is the basic building block, and this is the styles. It can be color, font, size, it can be anything. Almost you can do anything. Okay, like let's say transparent, everything. Okay, and again, the reason why we are starting from HTML and then going one by one is because we will be touching all these HTML and then all these style sheets in the upcoming sessions. That's the reason we are starting from the basics. Now we understood HTML, both are HTML files, and .css is style sheet. Now in this, let us see Microsoft, let's see Wikipedia. Let us open this one. Okay, and let's search for PowerShell. Okay, and I press Control Shift I, and then go to refresh it, and you could see lot. Okay, we are looking for CSS. You see here, this is the style sheet we are talking about. Let me double click on it. Open a new tab. You see here, I'll just show some few things. I mean, there are a lot of styles and there are a lot of components in HTML. We are not going to see all of them. We are just going to focus on the few things that is mandatory. If we understand that few things, that will be enough for us to build anything else as well. So let us search for font. You see here font weight, font style. When I say font weight, it is like whether it is bold or not. Font style, and then italic. We made it italic, right, in the word. Similarly, this one italic, and then underline. Let's say here we have a bold, and let us say, okay, let us see anything else. Color. Okay, so what all the things we can see about the background color, and then whether it's transparent or not, and what is the color code. Okay, color code will be in the two. Color code is something we will be seeing. So again, color code will be either in this format, which is a hexadecimal format. Okay, or it can be in the RGB, red, green, blue. Okay, it will be like 10 comma 10 or 1 comma 10, anything. Okay, so how do we convert from this to this and this to this? In Google itself we have an option to do it. So let's open um, hex to RG or RGB to hex. Okay, this is the one, right? Let's say I pick some color, I click on it, and you could see this one, the hexadecimal. Okay, and we can also see the RGB. It will be like a 3. R is for red, G is for green, and B is for blue. So these two format will be used to mention any kind of colors, and mostly it will be easier to use hexadecimal. So I mean, it is easier to copy and then do it instead of we put a comma and do all those things. So either we can use both the formats. And so again, take all these just an information. Okay, you don't have to remember any of these things. I'll be putting together everything finally. Okay, so that's a color code. And what else we were doing, and we were actually seeing about. Okay, so color, and what else? Let us say table we have. Yeah, so table is let's say we need a table. Let's say this here we have a table, right? This is a kind of table, and then one by one, even though it looks like a menu, right, one by one, it is actually a table. Okay, so in HTML it will be a table. So we'll be seeing about tables as well. Okay, table, and we'll be seeing there are two components in table. One is row, another one is column. We'll be seeing how do we create a table, and then how do we do styles on that. So that is what all about. Okay, and few websites will be actually you will be able to see the complete CSS and complete HTML. Here we are able to see, let's say here we are able to see what all the images getting loaded, and what all the HTML. Let's say here instead of HTML they have SVG. We have HTML here. Okay, this one web. Okay, here is the one document, right? This can be the I mean whatever the information, the HTML. Okay, it'll be for more secure reason. Few sites, again, this is not related to PowerShell. Few sites will be actually showing what all things you are actually putting. Some information will be hidden within the SVG and XML format, so that you will not be able to take or copy their font or copy their styles or anything. Okay, so that let's say you are able to replicate a website's format and style sheet, and your, let's say there is a bank site, you are able to retrieve all the information from this, and then you are able to make another fake site that you will not be see any difference, right? So for that reason, this information will be most of the time will be hidden in the secured websites, and sometimes like Wikipedia, those kind of things, sometimes it will be also visible. So the whole point is here is there are two things. One is front end, there is HTML, another one is style sheet, and this is the basic building blocks, and this is the style sheet. And HTML.html or HTM and .html, both are HTML file extensions. .css is style sheet format. And color code, as I said, hexadecimal, and then it can be RGB. And we are also going to see about table and row, columns, all those things. So that's about HTML, and the reason why we are going to do with HTML is readability. And first thing is, let's see how shall we get some information. Let's open a notepad, and let us say save this as daily. Let's create a folder, reports. Okay, and let's say daily report 1.ps1. Okay, this is where we are going to create all of them. Okay, and let us go to reports. We are going to use this file, and then we are going to build one by one. Okay, and before that, let's see few of the commands, what all the things we are going to cover. I'm going to start the transcript as well. Okay, the first command is convert to HTML. This is the command. Whatever the information we have, right? We don't have to do anything manually. Let's say in this example, okay, and I'll be showing this, right? Okay. In this example, we are seeing, let us say, all this body and HTML, all these things are getting generated, and the format of the HTML will be usually in this way. Let's say it will be starting with this bracket and then HTML, and then anything started, it will be completed by backslash slash and then HTML. So this is the block. Okay, how we in PowerShell will be using curly brackets, right? Similarly, this is how we will be using it. It can be anything. It can be a button, and if we start a button, the button will be ending like this, and then there will be body, and if we start a body, and it will be ending with slash body. Okay, and if we have a head, okay, all these are predefined. Okay, and predefined in the sense like how we have in PowerShell, let's say dot $true is a predefined variable, right? Similarly, all these HTML, all these things are predefined, and this will be used to build the HTML building block. Okay, and let's say you might be knowing web developers will be learning HTML and then CSS and the backend, all those things, right? So this is what they will be studying. What all that this is actually called tags. Okay, these are all the things called HTML tags. Okay, and tag, I mean, we don't need to get into more of it. Just to understand, this HTML will be looking like this in this format. Anything starting will be done with the same keyword but with a slash. Like a header will be header, body will be ending with body, and it is just like a bracket sort of thing. Okay, so starting a bracket and ending a bracket, a button and all those things. And CSS will be in a different format. It will be in a different file itself. Okay, as I said, all this are HTML tags and predefined, and If you see here, you will be seeing it starting with HTML, and inside you will be seeing language, directory, all those information. Header has lot of information, and body has lot of information. All those things you do not have to worry about it. Okay, first of all, reason is we already have everything built in with PowerShell using one single command called convert to HTML. Okay, so how it is going to convert it? Let us say get hyphen service. Okay, and then let us hit enter. Now I could see all the services are displaying, and what all the ways I could display, I mean take this output to a file. First way is I can first of all, I'm not doing anything, I'm hitting enter. It will be very similar to out hyphen host, which will be the same thing, will be displaying in the same screen. Okay, so that is the first thing. And what all the other options we have? Out hyphen grid view. These are all the things we have already seen. Just want to see what all the other options. We can see, let's say add a criteria, status, add, and then you can say stopped. Okay, and now you could see all of them are stopped or only displaying. So this is one of the way. And when this HTML and when we will be using this particular HTML will be mostly whenever we wanted to make the output very readable. That's the first point we covered, right? More readable and then looking good, right? Looks good. So that is when we will be going. So when we will be doing it, mostly it will be when we are sending some daily reports or reports to a web hosting. Maybe it can be to a website. Okay, directly you can put it in a website web page, or daily report through an email. You can attach an email. Okay, and for email we know a command called send hyphen mail, right? Mail message. In that attachments, here we will be attaching whatever the HTML we are creating, and then we will be sending it. And then you see here body as HTML is one of the option in a send mail message, where it will convert the complete mail into HTML in spite of text, and then it will be while sending itself in the body of the mail itself you can do lot of style. Whenever I say HTML, you also include the style as well, which is like color, font, size, transparent, all those things can be also done. Okay, so this is already covered, but just to give two scenarios. One is will be directly to the website. This is very rare scenario. Okay, but most of the time it will be through an email as an attachment. So now what we are going to do, how we are going to create this attached. Okay, and we need to create a HTML file. That's all we need to do is, and for that, that is the command we need. I'm going to just remove the out hyphen grid view. I'm going to just put convert to HTML, and I'm not typing anything. Okay, and let me copy this command, say this, and hit enter. You could see lot of things happening, right? First of all, let me just go through this. Okay, what is happening? I'll just try to I'm not gonna I mean, we don't have to know what is exactly happening. Okay, or just read the outputs. Okay, first thing is it's starting with HTML, right? We are going to compare this. It's starting with HTML. It is automatically generating a head and title, and then see, let's say COL group is a table. Okay, I said, right, we are going to see about table, right? Let's say here I said table and rows and columns, right? So TR is the row and TH is for TR is for row and TH for is column. Okay, like table is a all these again are the predefined tags. Okay, and whenever we are opening a TR, we need to complete the TR, and then you also have to complete the table as well. Okay, That's all related to HTML. You don't have to remember this. Just see what are the common things we are seeing. So table, and then it's creating the row, it's creating a column, it's also giving some name, it's also giving some information, lot of information, right? Okay, but it's converted to HTML, but I will not be able to read. Let's say, assuming I'm not that much of a HTML guy and don't know, all I need is the report, right? So how am I gonna use this? So let's try, we know a file command, right? Out hyphen file is a file, okay? And let us try to first put it as a HTML text.txt. Okay, let's see whether we are able to use that, and then let us open HTML text. Okay, now I could see the same output, and I could see a lot of information. Okay, still it is not readable. I'm not able to see the HTML. So what can be done? First of all, whenever we are using convert to HTML, we should, the right way to output the HTML is called set hyphen content. Okay, and now we are going to create HTML. Let's say this, call it as a daily report one dot HTML. Now remember, in out file I'm using .txt, and here I'm using .html. Okay, and this is optional, you don't have to do it, but it is always good to do it so that you know you are actually putting it to a HTML. Okay, and you can also use HTML, but let's use HTML. That's a standard one. Okay, let's try to get the service. Okay, whatever the service is there, and then we are going to convert to HTML. We are not doing anything. This is completely getting the service and then completely converting it to a HTML format, and it is only converting, it is not storing it to anywhere. And we tried output file, and it is only again storing the HTML text file. So we are going to try to set the content in using the HTML, and let's hit enter, and then let us open daily report.html. Now this looks pretty okay, right? While comparing to, let us say, while comparing to this is good. We could see name, required services, can pause, continue, all those fields, and we can also see all the information. And there is first problem is the required services, it is still in not readable format. Okay, that is again we'll be coming to one by one. We will resolve all those things and make it more attractive. First of all, let's fix the data. Okay, so first thing is a few things. Why this is displaying here means it is an array, and we know array will be having square brackets, and then we need to display it in a different manner. For that, we will be using the hash table. Okay, and do we have anything else? We have also dependent service similar to that, and then other things are pretty okay. Now, first of all, do I have to send all this information to my report? No, I need only few things. So first of all, I'm going to retrieve only few information for my usage. So let's say I'm going to generating a daily report with services. Okay, status, and let us first see what all the information I need. I need name. Okay, I don't need a required services, but just because you will be facing this problem in future, you will be having this kind of information. We are going to take that as well so that we know how to actually use it. And then I don't need can pause, all those name, display name, machine name, service name. All I need is status and startup type. This is all I need. Okay, so let us copy this, and let me go to this particular command, and here I'm gonna, before do that, get hyphen service, pipe it to select hyphen object. We know what select hyphen object will be doing. Select object will be selecting only few fields from that particular object, and it will be displaying in the table format. Let's hit enter. Okay. Now let me try auto size. Okay. Still my screen size is a bit um, small. So first thing is I'm able to accomplish whatever the name, required service, status, and startup type is, see here. Okay. But it is trying to, the PowerShell is trying to put together so that I will be able to see, but it is not that much useful for me. But we are able to use it using the, let's say here, FT auto size. We know this auto size will make it auto size, and then we are able to see the status. The first thing is required services. Here it actually have information, right? What are all the services required. Now first let us use the same thing, and so let me copy this, select hyphen whatever this one, and then let us go back to the HTML report. Now before I convert, I get the service, I select only the few information, and then I convert to HTML, and then finally I'm setting it to daily report 2.html. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, it's done. Let's say daily report 2.html. Open. Now we could see name, required services, status, startup type. I could see in spite while comparing to this report. This report is pretty okay, and this is what I need as well, right? And you see, if I select, it looks like a table, but for a reader it doesn't look like a table. It is just like looks like a line, so one by one, right? So we'll take care of the formatting one by one. First of all, let's fix this one. This is something an array and we are not able to get it right. So first, what is the first thing we need to do? This is something we have already seen, but I'll be putting it in this way. So we will be using the hash table. Okay, let's say n is equal to name, let's say required services. And if you are not sure about it, if you missed it, it is already in the previous sessions, how we will be declaring and then getting some calculated value using whatever the, let's say, required service is not actually pulling the information, so we are going to do some kind of manipulation. In that case, this is what we will be doing. So first I'm naming this field as required services. Here I'm going to also leave a space so that it will be easier for me to read, and followed by E for expression, and then there dollar underscore dot required services, and I'm going to complete this first curly bracket, and then there is one more curly bracket, and I'm going to complete this. Okay, and then I'm going to convert this, I mean change this daily report as a 3 and hit enter. Let me first see whether it worked or not. Open it up. Okay, that worked. Right now we are able to see the name, and wherever it is empty, it is empty. Wherever the information, we are able to take the information. Now since we started more than one line, let us go to the report here. Okay, and first thing is, whenever we are writing a script, right, if it is more than one pipe, okay, it has multiple pipes, right? So whenever it is going more than one pipe, the best thing is to assign it to a variable. Okay, so let's put all services to get service. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, all service to select object. Okay, and then I'm taking all this information. Okay, and hit enter. This information I'm gonna take it as formatted information. Okay, I'm just breaking the pipes one by one. First I'm getting the all service, I'm naming it all service, piping it to this one. And then before I convert, I'm using this one. Okay, formatted information, convert to HTML. Then I'm gonna actually say this as well, HTML report, let's say raw report. Okay, what is that? This is what the converted one. Okay, and then finally, whatever the HTML report, I'm gonna pipe it to set hyphen content. Okay, and I'm gonna save this. And what I'm gonna do is first, let us change this as 4, and then first see whether this is working. Okay, daily report PS1, right? So hit enter. Okay, now the we see the daily report is generated, but again I'm going here and then opening it, right? So I don't want that to be happen. I want to open this. Okay, so what is the right way to open? Invoke hyphen item, hit enter. This will be opening the invoke hyphen item will be just invoking whatever invoking, in the sense it will be opening with the right file file type with the right application. So I'm just going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it here and then save it. Now I'm going to run it again. Now once it's done, it's automatically opening the report for me, right? That is what. Okay, so I got the report, and whatever this one single command did, we are doing this using 4 to 5 lines. Okay, but this is the right way to do it. Okay, we cannot do and manage everything from here. And one thing is, first thing, we know where exactly we are actually for getting error. Let's say right hyphen host. Okay, list of all services. And what I'm doing here is, let's say we are doing a huge report or huge kind of script. We will be having lot of outputs. First, all services will be get service, and then I'll be first displaying whether this is working. Okay, so all services followed by all services, and let's say here list of formatted all services, which is this one. So what this will be doing is, this will be giving me an information, right, whether this converted or not. Raw HTML data. Okay, here it's not that much useful, but when you go and when we have some errors, right, we will be knowing where exactly going wrong. Let's say if this is not getting displayed as you expected, this is where the problem. So we will be able to know till all services is everything is fine, only in this command something we need to do. So that is how we will be breaking this, and then we will be actually troubleshooting. Okay, so let us say raw is this one, and raw report we are actually setting it to daily report, and okay, converted to HTML successfully. And I'm also gonna type error 0 if there is an error. Okay, and then invoke will be opening the file, right? Host opening the file, and I say this is again the same information whatever we did here, but this will be the right way to do it, and then this is how we are going to do. And if let's first name it as 5 so that we know this works fine. And daily, just press up arrow and hit enter. First it's displaying the services, and then it's displaying the formatted information, only these information, and then I could see HTML raw report. Finally, it is trying to open in the file HTML daily report file. It doesn't exist. Okay. Now converted successfully, the term S is not recognized. Okay. So it says Okay, this is exactly what I mean. So what I till here, it's converting, everything is fine. Now I'm getting an error here. Okay, here first daily report HTML, right? First, let me check whether it's generated or not. Okay, before I clear the screen, I'll take a look at it. What is the error? It says cannot find path. Okay, so basically this file might not be generated, or I'm making some mistake in the spelling. Now, converted to HTML successfully, followed by I'm printing the error, right? You remember we are printing the latest error. So this is the error happening somewhere here, because raw report is actually getting generated. This is where I'm getting problem. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, the term S is not recognized as a okay, and then check the spelling. Okay, where it is actually checking the S. Let us see. First of all, let us change this as 5. Okay, because first thing is 5 is not there. We changed it to 5. And let us clear screen and then run it again. Now services are there, formatted information are displaying, and then we will be waiting for the HTML conversion to happen. HTML is also doing, and it opened. Now it's pretty straightforward. The problem is I made a mistake. 4 is not there. So I mean I'm putting it to a 4, number 4, but I'm actually trying to open number 5. So that's the problem. Now it successfully executed. Okay. Now about this one. Okay. The reason why we are putting required services in an expression is because required services is an array, and when we are trying to display directly an array, okay, here in spite of this we put the required services, what we were getting is we are getting some information similar to this complete array is displaying. For that we are using this format. This is a hash table. This is the required services with a space, and you could see required services with a space, and this required services, let's say here, will be not space, means this is what I declare. It can be anything. Okay, required services followed by dollar underscore dot. We know the current object. In that we are fetching the required services information, and then we are displaying it like explicitly we are taking that particular information and then we are displaying it. So this is what we need to all we need to do whenever we are facing this kind of problem. In most of the reports, at least one information will be like an array, and if that information is something you are looking for, then this is what you need to do. And you will be also getting all this script, right? So you will be able to just use it. Now first we are able to get the raw report, yes, and HTML, okay, it is okay and readable, and we are able to get the information. But we want to make it more, let's say appealing, right? So let's do few other things. Let's get the help, get help and help convert to HTML. An example, before that, let's say full, and hit enter. There are quite few information, and we'll be using only few of them, and that's more than enough for us to display a decent information. Okay, first thing is hyphen body. Okay, if you see, all these things are will be related to whatever this information we have seen about HTML, okay, or CSS. Okay, I'll be seeing this body is something about this body tag. You remember I said all the HTML will be called as tag, right? So whatever you are mentioning here will be the body of that particular conversion. Okay, and this is again not to confuse. Okay, all these things you don't have to do it. We are going to just use one command. Okay, all we are going to use it, this one, CSS URI. We know it is very similar to URL, uniform resource. Here it is, uniform resource identifier, right? URL similar to that. So this will be mentioning where we are actually gonna use this, what is the file path of the CSS file. Okay, and what we are going to do is we are going to create a file with all the style whatever we require to be used, and then we are just going to use this one so that it will be looking pretty good, and then we are going to use that. Okay, so other than that, there are a lot other information like header, input object, post content. It's I'll copy what all things we are going to use it. Okay, first thing is we'll be using post content. We'll be using CSS URI is the file path of the CSS. Post content is very similar to a like footer sort of thing. Okay, let's say footer. Okay, and then what else we have? Pre content is header sort of thing, like a title sort of thing. Okay, and for an example, let's say we open any website, right? We see this Wikipedia, all those things, and at that very top, we'll be seeing this information, right? This will not change anywhere. This is a header, right? At the very bottom, there we'll be seeing some privacy, all about all these disclaimers, and this particularly Wikipedia is a registered trademark. This information, those information can be, written using post content, and pre content can be a title or footer. So that is what pre content and post content. What else we are going to use? There is also something called title. We can use the title as well. Okay, pre content and title will be different. I'll be showing what is the HTML title. Okay, and we'll be seeing all of them we'll be using. So that are all, those are all the things. Okay, now let's try these one by one so that we'll get a little bit more comfortable with this. Okay, what this will be doing, again, we are not going to use all these things, just to make you more comfortable with the convert to HTML. I'm just copying this, pasting this, convert to HTML. It's taking the date and it is using input object. It is very similar to get date and then convert to HTML. And this is what the same information here. Okay, now, okay, and let us set hyphen content and date.html. Let us try this. Date 1 and date 2. First, let's try this one. Before that, let me copy the other examples. That will be useful so that we don't have to type this command again. Okay, get hyphen alias. Okay, this is something we are gonna use it in and other than that, we don't need most of them. Even we don't need this. Okay, we'll go one by one. Okay, first example, this one. Let's copy this and then execute it from the. It is converting whatever get hyphen date. First, what is get hyphen date? Get hyphen date is this is the information, and we are gonna copy and paste it. Now you see the complete information. Whatever we see, it's only few information, right? In spite of that, it is taking the complete object, it and it is actually displaying all the information, right? What is the ticks, time of the year, all those information. Okay, and is this gonna be helpful? No, this is just to show the input object. And as I said, these two are the same thing. Let's try the same thing. Okay, get date. Now date2.html. You see, they both are identical. Only the time seconds will be changing. The point is they both are same. Okay, input of, you don't have to use this. In spite of that, you can go with the usual pipelining. And second example, let's this we have already tried. Okay, out hyphen file, but anyway, we'll try it now. Get hyphen alias, and it's gonna convert and then put it in a alias.html. Okay, and it's opening in an HTML. Now you see out hyphen file, previously we typed dot html dot txt, since it was not working, but now we are using htm. Okay, and it will be working. So but usually the right or the best practice is use either set content or add content. Okay, so what is set content and add content? Set hyphen content will be creating a new file and setting the content or store the content. And add hyphen content will not create, just append to existing file. Okay, so this is what the two files. So we'll quickly see that as well, because that's one. Get hyphen help and hit enter. So add content and set, this is to get the content of the file, this is set the content of the file. Okay, so this is what these two information we will be using. Okay, now let us, okay, let's open the aliases.html. We have already typed, right? Let's open. Now we could see all the aliases. Okay, like say for each object, this is the display name and what are all the information. All this information will be here. Okay, and you remember I said a few information will be in a metadata or in a dictionary or a array format. We know what to do. All we need to do is use this particular expression and then retrieve that particular information if at all it is required. Okay, and what else? Let's try the event log as well. Okay, why they put it in event log, not sure. I'm not. Well, let's first check whether event viewer has the Windows PowerShell or not. Okay. Meanwhile, we will just execute it. Here it is. This one. This is what they are retrieving. Okay. Now open the ps log.html. Now it's retrieving all the information, and then we could see all the information. So this is something you'll be using, event log, something you will be taking and then you will be displaying. So nothing changed. Okay, not these are all the other examples. You see the pattern, right? So we are getting some information, we are converting it and then putting into a file. We are getting some information, converting it, setting into a file. So best thing is use a add or set content. That's the whole point. Now we are able to get all this information fine, and let us continue with this one. Now what I said is we wanted to make this conversion, right? Get hyphen convert more appealing. For that we retrieved a few information, right? Let's say title. Okay, let's say title as daily report. I'm putting intentionally all in capital here. Okay, in HTML, and followed by pre-content, and here I'm going to put it everything in small case. Same thing, daily report of services status. Okay. And then CSS URI. Currently, we are not, I mean, first, let's not use it. We will be adding it later. And then let's add a post content. What is the post content? It can be a footer, let's say, created by PowerShell Titans team. Save it, and let's I'm just renaming it because so that I know I'm not seeing the old information. Let us go ahead and run it. PS1. Now, since I know this all works, I'm going to take off this displaying information. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a hash here, hash here, hash. That's all. So, and then so that I don't have to wait for it. Now opening a file, did that open the file? Yeah, it opened. You see it's blinking, right? The port 6 is opened. Now you could see two information. Okay, first thing is if I just highlight at the very top, okay, not the file, the tab very top, you see daily report in capital in HTML, right? So this title is a title of that particular file name, or the HTML. There is a tag called how we have HTML. Similarly, there is something called title. Okay, so this is where this will be sitting, and then this is what we are doing. And pre-content and post-content is something just whatever the content we are generating before that, whatever we want to display, maybe like this daily report of the service status, and then post content will be, let's say, something like this, created by the PowerShell team, PowerShell Titans team, right? So it can be your name, created by your name, so that whoever is reviewing this, you can be, they know you are the one created this, so that you don't have to, you can, claim your credibility. So now again, everything is fine, but still it is not that appealing, right? So that is what we are going to do. For that, we are going to create something called CSS file. I'm just naming it as universal.css so that the plan is you can use this one CSS and you can apply it anywhere. Okay. And I save it. There is nothing in here. What all the things will be here? Before we go to that, let us just quickly see what all the things will be there. I just already opened. Okay, here. So this is how a CSS file will be looking. Okay, first I'll first copy this, and then we'll be doing it. Okay, so first this is the one, body and table, h1, h2, this is header 1, header 5, header 2, all these things. You don't have to remember just as of now. I'm just copying this. Okay, and how I'm coming with this, before that, just let's put this kind of thing. Okay, let's say body. Okay, and followed by this, and then table followed by a curly brackets, and then h1 curly brackets, h2 curly bracket. H1, h2 is all header 1, header 2. Okay, I'll just show HTML, h1, h2, h3. If you click on this, this is what will be like a h1, h2, all our tags. If you go to here, you see this is how it will be. H1 is will be like a bigger one, then h2, and then it will be keep on decreasing. So there are 6 type of it. It means you can use this as a predefined hair tag instead of just using the normal let's say text. You can make it like a bold, and then it will be looking like a heading, right? So that is what h1 stands for. uh, repeating again. All you don't have to remember h1 h2 all those things. Okay, you all you need is this html file or this css file. I'll be sharing it. You need to understand what you can do inside. That is all the matters here. So h1 h3 h3 h4, I'm just sharing what how it will be looking like and what all things you can add. You can add almost anything whatever we see in this one here, right? Title, table, head, body, button, anything can be added here. Okay, and it'll be added in this format. Let's say table, it'll be already we added table, right? Let's say tr is a table row, th is a table column, and means if we do something here, we mention some style here, it will be applying to body. If we mention some style here, it will be applying to the table. It will be similarly, we can do a lot of things. Okay. Here h2, let me copy this one. Okay, so here font family, again, I'm just relating to something you already know so that it will be easier. We type something, what are all the things we can change? We can change the font name, right? Let's say Tahoma can be changed. That is what it is actually doing. Okay, color, let us say this one, right? Here, if we go here and then more color, custom, here you see RGB, right? This is where you'll be changing this, right? I said there will be two kind of information, RGB or it will be hexadecimal. Better we'll be using this one. And then let's not take all these things and confuse as of now. So basically whatever we put here, it will be actually making it applying that particular information for you. Okay, now for body, this is what I'm just going to copy this three information. Okay, and then I'm going to put it here. Okay, body has three information. One is background color and font family and font size. And what is the table? It is gonna be border solid black. Okay, and for advanced users, you can mention a table, td, th, all those td, th, all these things here. Okay, but for us, it is okay to keep all of them separately. Okay, I just copy the same thing here and then paste it here, paste it here. Okay, there is space, all those things are not required. See here, I'm putting it one by one. Here it is all in one line. So space, it doesn't matter. Okay, if you see actually the style sheets, it will be just like everything will be will be bulked together. Okay, so it will not be even readable. So just because we are starting, we are just putting it in this manner. So what else? Okay, h2, we are going to make it as a font family. This is the one. This is I'm going to apply the same thing to everywhere. Okay. For th, right? I'm just going to add one more information. So since it is more than one information, I'm just going to put it here and I save it. To make it more readable, I'm just leaving space. I'll be sharing this so that you can use this one file. This is more than enough for you. Okay, all changes you can just change it here and then you can mention it in your file. Okay, now let's come back to this one and to the actual report. And now let us add CSS URI, which is here. And what is the file name? I'm just going to take the complete file name. Okay, get hyphen child item universal css fl star. Okay, this is the full name. You, it's better to put it the full name so that whenever you are changing the folder, you don't have to worry about the css file path. I save it and then I'm going to run it again. daily report. Now you see the huge difference, right? How this looks and how this looks, right? Like first of all, let's make this daily report little. First thing is, you could see nice table, right? Nice table, and then you could see it's in a blue color, and then this is, double. There is the style we mentioned in the universal CSS. Okay, here we say solid black, and then 1p px is a pixel. Okay, and what is the font and what is the background color? We can change the background color of anything. It can be ff. Let me save it, and then I'm gonna come here, refresh it. You see here, I'm not generating the report again, just I change the CSS here. Okay, I made the change here, and then I come here, I refresh it. The gray background changed to white without even generating the report again, right? So that's the CSS. CSS will be like a kind of always will be there. Whatever the changes you are making in CSS will immediately applied. You don't have to redo it the HTML. Okay, and if you just right click on it, inspect, and then in the styles you could see all these things. The border, let's say here we applied, right? Border 1px, and then let's say mono space, and what else we see? Table black, and then what else? Body font Tahoma, right? We are searching for so this background we just changed, right? FF, let's say, let's make some change, FFDD, and hit enter. Now come back to the report. Okay, you see that change happened, right? So this is what the CSS is all about. Whatever we are changing here, if I just refresh again, this is actually pointing to this one. So this information will be taken, and then again refresh, it will be there. So first thing is we generated the daily report using a script, and then we created a universal CSS. I'm going to share this with you, and the universal CSS will be in this format. All the tags of HTML, within that you'll be having curly brackets. You can mention all kind of style, whether it is a background color, foreground color, font family, font size, all those things. Now, important question is, how do I know all these font family, color, all those things? I have no clue about it, right? So for those, this is what I'm going to share it to you. There are two websites, easy to use. Okay, let us say this is the first time I'm going to share this as well, so don't have to worry. First thing is this one. Okay, this will generate whatever we need. Okay, let's say background color. Okay, now here you see the preview is red color, right? Let us say I click on here. I need yellow, let's say, or this color. Okay, some color I just want to show. I copy it and come here, and in the background color I just paste it and save it. Now I don't know what is background color. I don't have to know any of these things. Okay, and I just copied it, and then let us say I come here, refresh it. You see it changed, right? Now when I open this website, this particular website, the one I'm talking, I don't know what is background color, all those things, but from seeing this one I could choose whatever I need. Let's say border is the one I'm worried, I want to change. Where I will be changing the border, it will be in the table, right? A table border or anywhere. Let's say what is the border, the color I want it to be, let's say some kind of let's make it as blue. Okay, and then dotted, just you see here, you see on the preview you will be seeing all those things. Dotted, dashed, solid. Solid looks good. Double, okay, double is okay. And then width also, here you see I'm changing here, and then it will be actually changing for me. Okay, so I'm going to make it and just copy this, come here, and let us put it here, paste it, save it. and then come back, refresh. You see the change, right? The color, and it's only applying to the TD, which is the column, I mean the row, right? So similarly, okay, and you can also change anything. It can be, mostly it will be like we don't need all those things. Letter space, line height, all those things you can do. Okay. Let us try something, the other website I mentioned, right? So this is the another website. Here it will be more easier to do any kind of changes to font. Not only font, you can do table, column, all those things, but this will be again two tools, same things. Okay. Here I'm going to make it as Times New Roman. Font, I'm going to make it as this one, and color, I'm going to make it as let's say green color or something. Okay. And I'm going to make it bold, underline, and then um, normal, I'm going to make it as italic. You see whatever I'm doing here, it's keep on changing, right? So this, okay. Okay, now blue, and I'm going to make everything uppercase, and then you see whatever I'm doing here. Okay, I just copied, I mean I click on use this created automatically. I'm just copying. You have to just copy this whatever here. Okay, I copy it, and then I'm come here, and then let's say I want to change it to H1. Okay, means wherever I mention H1 in that HTML, wherever it is there, it will be changing it to this one. Let us see, is there any H1? Okay, so let's try to make this as a H1. Okay, so that we know this change is applied. Where to make that change, we need to come to the report. That is where we are generating the HTML information. So let's come back to here, and okay, pre-content. Here I'm going to just mention it as H1 and slash H1. Save it, run it. Now you see whatever I just did, right? Let's say I created this one, green color, underscore, all these things are done. You see previously it is like this. I just copied it and pasted it in my universal thing, and it's done. Now, what is this one? Let's say I want to make the final information. Let's say created by, right? So created by PowerShell Titans. I'm going to change that as well. Let's say something else. Arial black. I don't need that much big. Let's say I need some 15. And then instead of blue, let's say I make it as green. And then, yeah, I don't need underline. Let's say make it as overline or anything, anything you need. Okay, normal. And then use this. Make sure you click on use this, and then it will be updated. I copy this, and first I copy, see the thing. First I'm copying, I'm gonna apply it to H5. Okay, now I go back, I refresh, nothing changes because I did not mention H5 anywhere. You remember we mentioned H1 here, right? Similarly, okay, now let's go to report. Now the post content, I'm going to make it as H5. And then if I start, we need to also complete it H5. Now I save it. Once I save it, we need to run it. It's opened. Let's go to end. You could see this one. And the green is not that good. I want to change the background color. Let's say I go back here. This one, background color. Sorry, background color, I want something light. So okay, let us say I copy this one and come back to here, not to the sheet, and then in this background color I paste it. So all I have to do is refresh it. You see, this is previous report, but when I refresh, it will be changing. This is also so CSS will be applied automatically whenever you are making some data information or HTML related. Then only all you need to do the changes. Okay, and when we are sending the information, you will be attaching this HTML file and sending it to them. Now let us do one more thing. Okay, in the daily report, let's go back the daily report. Here I'm gonna just copy all these things and just copy, and then I'm gonna paste it again. But here, instead of service, I'm gonna get all hyphen process, and I'm gonna say process process. Okay, all process, all process. I'm just changing this thing so that we can pointers, we can, instead of only one information, we can have more than one information. Okay, and then we can use that. Here, name. What are the things I required from get hyphen process? Let's first see get hyphen process, get hyphen member. I need I need the process name. So here, in spite of all these things, I'm just gonna change it. Process name, comma. What is the session ID, or let's say start time, and memory size, and CPU. These four information should be enough just to display whatever we are trying to do. Okay. Also, let's say safe handle if required. So now all this information are getting stored where in the formatted process, and then I'm gonna write host this formatted process. I'm converting this daily report title. You don't have to do it. Free content daily report processes status. Let's say process status. Okay, let it be, and that's the same style sheet. And then HTML raw report process. Let's say HTML raw report process, and instead of set content, I'm just gonna add content, and I'm gonna make it as 7, and I'm gonna make this as 7, and I'm gonna make this as 7 as well. That's it. And I'm gonna save it, and let us try to run it. Daily report. Okay, sorry. Daily report.ps1. Okay. Now let us see. Okay. First of all, I'm getting the service status. Okay, I'm scrolling down. Okay, and I'm also getting the daily process status, and I'm getting whatever the process name, start time, virtual memory, CPU, safe handle. I mean, this is something I just additionally added. You know what to do, how to handle this. So these are all the information we can keep adding using that add content, and you will be seeing. And this, I mean, all this color, you might not like it. You might not like all this font, all those things. All you can do from this particular CSS, and then whatever you want to add, you can do it. I'm just gonna give both of them, and you will be able to create it. All you need to do is attach this file and send it to them. And keep in mind, if you wanted to keep two different HTML files, create a two different CSS. For example, if you want to create a daily report 7 in different format in this background, and this is in a different background. The reason is, if I say change the CSS anywhere, wherever that CSS is referred, it will change everywhere. Okay. So if you wanted to keep two different things, make a copy of the universal CSS, rename it, and then you also make sure you go here in this CSS URI and make change there as well, so that it knows where to refer that. Now let me put together what all the things we have seen so far. Okay. First, we started with HTML. Why HTML? Because it's readability and making it a good. And then we know there are, even though whatever the background can be WordPress, Python, PHP, or anything, the front end will be mostly HTML and CSS. HTML is a building block. CSS is the style. When we say the style, it's very similar to color, font, size, transparent, everything. We can do lot of things, but as of now, this is enough. How we need to approach. This is all about how we need to approach, nothing to remember. That is what's the whole point. And PS1, how the PowerShell scripts. Similarly, HTML, always go with HTML. That's a easy to use format. CSS also .css, make sure you put it in double quotes. And color code, use hexadecimal. You can also use this one, but this will be more easier. For this, you need to use the Google RGB to hexa. That is this one. And then we know HTML tags. What is HTML tags? We have seen examples. And then there are two options. I mean, more than two options, but usually it can be in a website or it can be through an attachment. The report can be sent, or HTML, anything. As a HTML will be the attach as an HTML and send it through send hyphen mail message. And convert to HTML is our key here to change everything, and it will do all the work. All you need to do is just to do two things. One is collect the right information, what you need to do it, and if something is not there, make use of this particular format so that if some information is not displaying, use this so that you will be able to display it correctly. That's the only thing you will be doing it. Other than that, you can add title, pre-content, and CSS URI is the style sheet where you wanted to save it. And finally, post content is like a footer, right? So that is all we did. And set content, add content, out hyphen file, all those are good, but always go with set content or add content. Add content will append, set content will recreate it. So make sure you do that correctly. So we also seen other things as well, and I transcribed everything. Finally, we created a report with two information. One is service, another one is process. Okay, so this is how we will be doing it. And other than table, you can do lot of things, but most of the times as an IT administrators, we will be using tables only. So we started with table. That's more than enough for you to get started. And that's the end of the session. And we'll be seeing, if you go ahead and try these things, try all those things, and then make sure you are trying it and then getting some result and applying it in your real time. And then if you have any questions, we'll be having and taking it in a Q&A sessions. So thanks for your time, guys, and let's rock and roll. And thanks for your time. Have a wonderful evening.